Josh Taylor versus Teofimo Lopez. Interesting matchup for Taylor's WBO World Super Lightweight title. Neither guy looked good last time out, Taylor against Catterall or Lopez against Martin. Plus points for Taylor. He's the naturally bigger man, although that could be a negative as well depending on how well he's made the weight. I'll come on to that in a minute. Taylor has more experience than Lopez in championship fights. He's had 5 world title fights, whereas Lopez has only had 2. Taylor's still unbeaten, the controversial win against Jack Catterall notwithstanding. So, as the saying goes, he hasn't learned how to lose yet. That can sometimes give a fighter a mental edge. Taylor is the taller guy with a slightly longer reach, which might mean something if he can use those attributes effectively. Taylor, I would say, is the better combination puncher of the two up close. Lopez throws some mean combinations too, but typically needs a bit more space. I also think that Taylor has the better footwork of the two. Minus points for Taylor. He's the older man by 7 years, so potentially not as fresh. He's also been out the ring longer. His last fight was 15 months ago, whereas Lopez's last fight was just 6 months ago. So Taylor could be rusty. He's also fighting in Lopez's backyard, so that might sway the officials in Lopez's favor if it's close. Taylor has been 140 pounds his entire career. There's the possibility that he's been at that weight for too long now and might be draining himself. Some people believe that played a part in his performance against Catterall. Plus points for Lopez. He's the younger man. He's fought much more recently. I think he's more explosive and throws harder single punches than Taylor. I think he's the better athlete all round. He recently moved up from 135 pounds, so he should, in theory, make the weight easier and be fresher in there. He also has home advantage. Minus points for Lopez. He seems mentally and emotionally erratic. He'll definitely need to get his head in the right place for this fight. He's the smaller man on paper, so it's possible that Taylor will be stronger up close and more resilient to Lopez's power than his opponents were at 135. Lopez might become disheartened if his punches aren't having the desired effect. And that doesn't necessarily mean scoring knockdowns or a knockout, but just keeping Taylor honest, intimidating him maybe. One of the secrets to Lopez's win over Lomachenko was the fact he made Lomachenko fear his power. He couldn't do that with Sandor Martin last time out, and as a result, he struggled. Could it be the same story here against Josh Taylor? So let's talk about the style matchup. Lopez had trouble with southpaw Sandor Martin last time out. Martin has similar dimensions to Taylor, although I would say Martin is a bit more elusive than Taylor, moves a lot more, presents a more awkward target. Taylor is more aggressive, stands his ground more often, and is easier to hit, quite frankly. That would suit Lopez, I think. Taylor can get on his bike and move, but that's not really his forte. He's not as effective boxing on a back foot as Sandor Martin, but perhaps he won't need to be. Perhaps it will still be effective enough if he chooses to box that way. Because if he tries to hold center ring, I suspect Lopez's explosive sharpshooting on the outside will cause him some issues. When fights get tough, Taylor will typically choose to go on the inside, stay very close, and try to outwork his opponent with very short punches. That might be effective against Lopez. Again, I don't think Lopez shortens up his punches quite as well as Taylor does. Anyway, it's a fascinating matchup. Taylor is a very slight favorite with the bookmakers, and all things considered, I think that's reasonable. But it certainly wouldn't surprise me if the fight went either way. And those are the types of fights we like, right? 50-50s. Let me know how you guys see this one going in the comment section below. If you're tired of the biased narratives and mass censorship on mainstream platforms, and you want to be part of a community of critical thinkers who love free speech just as much as you do, then come and join me on Patreon and access my weekly no-holds-barred, censorship-free podcast where we lift the lid on a wide variety of controversial topics. It's not mainstream friendly, it's not politically correct, but that's the whole point. We dare to stand as a beacon of reason against an army of insanity. Just head on over to my Patreon page and select the tier called Hatman Hot Topics. You'll gain access to a minimum of 2 hours of exclusive content every single week, including podcasts, videos, interviews, live stream Q&As, as well as my popular Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. Not to mention a vast back catalog of hundreds of hours of previous episodes. You can listen via the Patreon app with the option to download in high-quality MP3. We've also got an Element group where you can come and chat and hang out with myself and other members. Unlike Discord, it has full end-to-end encryption, is decentralized, and is 100% censorship-free. You can also send voice notes as well as much larger audio and video files than you can on Discord. So come and sign up on Patreon. There's no contract. There's no commitment. You can cancel at any time, and it's cheaper than a cup of coffee. So I'll see you over there. I'm out.